Vic, Jim has a question we sort of touched on at the beginning, but it better defines really who someone should reach out to with a problem. He's got symptoms like he did see on one of those ads giving the 800 number to join a lawsuit. So how is it different from a regular lawsuit? And do you have to use the lawyer that you see on the 1-800 number, or could you use an attorney, say from the CSRA?
Yes. Jim, that's a really good question. The 1-800 numbers are just screeners. All they're doing is screening for cases, and then they refer those cases to a lawyer or lawyers that you probably don't even know halfway across the country. You can get your own lawyer to represent you in a mass tort case. That is a service that we would like to provide to our community so that you're not calling up a 1-800 number, you're calling up 706 all fours, and you get to talk to a real lawyer. Now, mass torts, and Chase did a great analogy to the Pinto cases. Basically, Ford Pinto was building cars that had the gasoline tanks on the outside of the inner frame. And so when there was a collision, the gas would leak and people would get killed as a result of the fire that followed. Now, that happened to thousands upon thousands of people. Now, the result is lawsuits were filed, say thousands of them, against Ford Pinto, but some were in California, some were in Maine, some were in Florida, some were in Indiana, some were in Georgia. So how can those claims be resolved without having thousands and thousands upon trials on each one of the cases? Well, the federal court system has developed a multi-district system so that the federal courts will actually choose one particular location to send those mass torts to. It could be Atlanta, Georgia, and all the cases involving Ford Pinto, or in today's world, in Zantac, could go through Atlanta, Georgia, and under one judge. And the judge would supervise the ongoing litigation. After that's done, the federal court will appoint a plaintiff's committee of lawyers and a defendant's committee of lawyers. And they will agree to try what they call test cases. And they'll try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the cases to determine, number one, what is the likelihood of success? And number two, what is the potential damages that a jury would likely award if the case was fully litigated? Now, what that enabled us to do is to create a matrix. In other words, the plaintiff's committee and the defense committee then will decide, based on the individual facts of all those other cases, whether it's likely, unlikely, or highly likely that the plaintiff would recover, and then determine what compensation through negotiation would be fair for different types of injury. So if you have a mass tort and you file a claim and they've tried the test cases, y'all heard about the roundup cases that were tried recently, that enables the court and the lawyers to figure out a reasonable option to avoid these tens of thousands of trials. And your compensation will be determined based on that matrix. In other words, you'll get more compensation for a broke arm than you will for a scratched thumb. You'll get more compensation for a catastrophic injury than you would for a broke arm. So that's the basics of it. And you can always call your own lawyer to file your own claim and handle it through the mass tort multi-district system.